Hey guys, it's Keith. It's been a while since I've done one of these update videos. I've kind of meant to do so for a while. So, we are in the final countdown for Bloodborne. In fact, we're in the span of time where by the time some of you watch this, it may even be already out. For me, it's coming out in 3 hours. I'm pretty psyched about that, actually. That's it. That's like the big game for the year for me, because it's a new Dark Souls game, and that's just what gets me psyched more than anything. Hopefully it's great, because if not, it's going to be a disappointment of a year by comparison, just because that's like the big thing, that's like the tentpole for me. In unrelated news, we just hit 2,000 subscribers. I kind of held off on announcing it right away, because if you say it, someone always says, like, what? You hit a milestone? I better unsubscribe right now to make it not true anymore. Ha ha ha, 1999. Well, that's not going to happen unless you guys really organize, because we're a bit past that now. But yeah, I'm very happy to make real progress there. I'm actually, so people are always like, you need more subscribers and you deserve better and stuff like that. Not, frankly, I'm actually really happy with my growth so far, so I definitely am not going to complain. We'll probably go back to that a little bit later, but I want to talk about my video schedule. I'm trying to make sense of it right now because I'm juggling a lot of games, and so here's sort of my tentative schedule for how videos are going to work from this point forward, unless I immediately disprove myself, because it's dangerous for me to try to make claims of how things are going to happen in the future for me, because I have a bad tendency to just immediately disprove them. Like, I made a tweet recently saying, but by the time Bloodborne comes out, I want to have like these games done. None of those I don't think any of those games got done, or like the Bright Lord got done and stuff like that. But like, I was like, I'm gonna go do Oblitus, and then I never even launched Oblitus, so that didn't happen. Whoops. So, daily schedule. My current plan is to have 1 episode of Bloodborne and 1 episode of Final Fantasy Type 0 per day, bare minimum. I'm pretty hyped about Bloodborne, and I'll probably be recording a lot of it, so that it's entirely possible that I'll have 2, 3, or who knows how many videos. Not 3, probably. I might have 2 videos of Bloodborne per day for a while, and right at the very, very, very beginning, for the first couple of days, I just might spam a bunch of Bloodborne videos, honestly, because I've set aside some time to be able to record a bunch of it, and it's like the big hype game right now for me, because if a large chunk of the people who watch this channel who didn't subscribe for Dragon Age Inquisition subscribed for one of the various Dark Souls games, by and large, is I believe how the numbers work out. So a lot of you are going to be wanting to watch Bloodborne as the spiritual successor to the Dark Souls series, and I'm certainly going to be wanting to play a lot of it, so that gives me an excuse to prioritize it. But aside from the Bloodborne and Final Fantasy time slots, I'm organizing the lower priority shows into individual time slots. The next time slot is going to be Darkest Dungeon and Dying Light. The idea there being that Darkest Dungeon and Dying Light are going to, since they're kind of medium priority shows, like you guys still watch them, and I still enjoy playing them, so I'm not trying to write them off or anything, but they're a little lower priority than these brand new releases, Final Fantasy and Bloodborne. So my idea is that I'm going to take those two shows and have them take up the same time slot on alternating days. So you get 3 or 4 episodes of each game per week, and they're alternating with each other back and forth. That seems like a pretty logical way of handling things. And then my last time slot I'm adding is going to be Orcs Must Die 2, World of Warcraft, and Gravity Ghost, if things go as planned. Because my current plan right now is to try to finish playing. I have a few hours here, and frankly, I'm kind of embarrassed by the fact that I forgot about Gravity Ghost all this time. I did a few episodes back in January and then just dumped it. Not even on purpose. It wasn't like an intentional decision. I just kind of forgot it existed. But it's not a very long game, and I don't want to leave it incomplete, so I'm going to try to finish it right now in the few hours between now and when Bloodborne goes live, because for me right now, I'm recording this at 6 o'clock at night. Bloodborne goes live for PlayStation 4 users at 9. So I'll try to have Gravity Ghost done, and basically every day you'll get an episode of Gravity Ghost, and then the next day you'll get an episode of Orcs Must Die 2, then the next day you'll get an episode of World of Warcraft, and that'll just keep going until we run out of Gravity Ghost and Orcs Must Die episodes, at which point, in that low priority slot, I'll probably then sort of just slot in other things like, what is it, my Dragon Age Origins series that I want to finish, that has been sort of sitting around in the background all this time, and maybe even Drakengard 3, we'll see how it goes. This is all kind of noise, I'm sure, but it's just, I'm trying to make sense of a schedule because of the fact that if I don't get some kind of structure, then not even I know when videos are going up, but we'll see how it goes. The main point to get is just that if you've seen me start a show, I do intend on finishing it, and I'm trying to get a system in place to try to make everything more consistent in some way, because right now everything's kind of just scattershot and going up whenever it wants to, and since I'm in a more secure and consistent environment now, I should be able to set up schedules where things go up at predictable intervals or daily and stuff like that on a more consistent basis without just weird stuff happening to that schedule. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle Life is Strange. Obviously, you guys really liked, or at least a chunk of you really enjoyed episode 1, because those videos did pretty well. I would like to do episode 2 in a timely manner, so maybe tomorrow I'll just find space in my Bloodborne schedule and just take a quick break and do the first hour of Life is Strange, and maybe we'll start getting Life is Strange just layered onto the schedule too. There's going to be a lot of videos this week, probably, just in general, so be forewarned, I guess. Because I do want to play Life is Strange in a timely fashion. It's just I got kind of caught off guard by the announcement that it's actually coming out the same day as Bloodborne, which puts me in a little bit of an awkward spot. So you guys have probably noticed that my last vlog video, I mentioned that I was like, I got a job, and this week might suck, and we're just gonna watch Orcs Must Die in World of Warcraft for a while, because I can't record videos and things like that. Clearly things have changed and improved, and that's because, yeah, I successfully moved. I now live within less than 10 minutes away from where I work, so that's very handy for me, and that's why I'm able to record so much video, and why it was possible for me to do sudden parallel shows of Final Fantasy 15 and Type 0 when the demo came out with the game, and I had to figure out how to juggle that, and it worked out so far. I still have too many games on my plate, which is something I need to fix, but hopefully the increased time to record means that I can just flat out finish some of these shows. I don't feel too bad about drawing out Dying Light, because I think having a little high-energy zombie episode every couple days is just kind of a fun way of handling things. Some of you might be bummed out about the idea of drawing out Darkest Dungeon and slowing down its release schedule a little bit, but it's just part of it's just reality of I need to figure out how to juggle all these games that are currently on my plate so I can finish them off, and then from the once it's done, I can just release it at whatever schedule I feel like it, because I don't have to worry about consistency at that point because there's no more. But in Darkest Dungeon's case, it does kind of make sense to draw it out a little bit, because it is an early access game, and we're kind of biding our time until the last 2 dungeons get added to the game, so the sooner I finish the current build of the game, the sooner that series just kind of disappears, and you guys don't get any more of it. Because there's been suggestions about alternate ways of playing the game and different play styles, and start over but play it this way and stuff like that, and those are nice suggestions, and I might do that. I'm not going to write it off completely as a possible future thing. Eventually, once I get more things off my plate, then I'm like, oh, let's return to this game for funsies. But for the time being, basically, when I run out of when I run out of the 9 bosses in the current build, I'm just gonna stop playing Darkest Dungeon on the channel until they add the new content to the game, just because that's more or less all that there is to do for now, and I'd rather focus on the other projects once I run out of that stuff. As far as where I moved to, I'm not gonna just randomly shout out at the exact addresses or anything, but if you're longtime followers of the SAD games, and you've known about me since before I made this channel, you may have seen me do Artemis videos, which are some of our more successful videos. They got posted on the PA report back when that was a news source with Ben Kuchera and everything. Basically, if you go to SAD games and look up Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator, that's funnily enough filmed in the location that I currently live at, and that's because I had a group of friends that would regularly get together to play tabletop games, and we'd play Artemis and stuff like that. And that was a building where they rented out rooms, so I went ahead and just moved into one of those rooms since it was conveniently close to where I was working. Just how things worked out there. It's kind of nice. I'm living with a bunch of nerds, basically. Everyone here is a gamer or a programmer of some kind, and it's like-minded people, so it's kind of a nice environment to be in, as opposed to back at home where there are people that love me, sure, but they're just not people that have any shared interests or mentality, so it's just kind of a bummer to talk about anything you care about, because it's just glazed eyes and just disinterest and stuff like that. I'm doing fine. Everything's moved in. I've got all my video game consoles, and I've got my recording equipment and my computer, and we're doing a-okay. I'm having all the fun of figuring out how to budget for food and rent and things like that. So that's an interesting situation to be in. My new job is at the Regional Water Quality Control Board, which you have to say in its entirety, because otherwise when you say water board, people think that you're a professional torturer, even though that, like, I'm pretty sure the term water board to represent that kind of location existed before the torture method did. I'm sorry, enhanced interrogation techniques is what the government tries to call it, or whatever. That's too close to political stuff. I don't feel like talking about it anyway. But basically, it's the thing that makes sure that your water's not full of poison, or that we have water and stuff like that. I'm in a department that deals with irrigation of land irrigation, so farmlands, and the idea that whether or not they're not making sure they're not poisoning the water table with their pesticides and everything that run off of their farm when they're watering it, basically. But my job specifically so far is basically dealing with spreadsheets. So it's long, tedious shifts, and it's not a great time, but it'll help me build experience in an office environment and in the type of location that'll actually make me more hireable in the future. And this is frankly the kind of situation that basically everyone who graduated with me is in too. Is just it's not a lot of people are willing to hire people right out of college, because we happen to be in a situation where in my field a lot of people became jobless relatively recently, so they ate up all the positions that the new students normally eat up, and so you have to really start at the bottom and get some basic experience in, so that people stop burning your resume on site and actually read it. But that's me, and everything's working out. Getting weirdly acquainted with turkeys, because as I walk out of my place of work, there's just turkeys around. That's weird. It's the weirdest thing I've noticed about turkeys, aside from just like their sheer size being kind of a surprise, is that the turkey's noise, like that gobble noise that you hear like in cartoons, like seemingly as a joke, that's exactly what they sound like. Like every time I hear a turkey, it sounds like someone's playing a stock sound off in the distance, and it's super baffling to me that they actually sound that way. That's just a weird experience for me. But yeah, I'm making money and things are working out, and we're figuring things out, and this channel's growing, and I'm actually gonna be making a little bit of money off of this channel, which is nice, because that the income from this channel actually can help cover some of my rent, for example. So that helps, but I do need to figure out how the hell that's taxed, because I think it's a pretty significant amount of the money I make from YouTube is probably going to go directly to taxes, so that's more complicated math to worry about, unfortunately. Let's see here. What else is there to talk about? So, there is an actual... I might talk about Patreon at some point, because Patreon is a option for some people, and I do need to figure out how to make more money, just in general. And so, I'm not saying right now, I'm not sitting here announcing that I'm going to do a Patreon account, but if you're someone who has a tendency to fund Patreon accounts, I'm interested in hearing what kind of perks you look for from somebody in that situation, and what kind of thing you look at as being good incentive to fund that kind of stuff, because it's a concept that I haven't really thought about so much, and it might be an option that I might want to look into going forward. Other than that, I'm sorry, this might be a particularly aimless episode of channel update or whatever, because really all I'm doing is saying, hey guys, I'm still alive, and I moved in, and everything's good now, and the channel's looking up, and everything's gonna improve from this point on, and Bloodborne's tonight, because that's an important thing to note, that it goes live for me at 9 o'clock at night, which means I have time to record for a few hours, and then start editing and uploading right away. So tonight, like in the middle of the night, Bloodborne's just gonna show up on YouTube, and so you guys, either if you stay up late or if you wake up in the morning, it's already gonna be here. You don't have to wait for me to... It's not like most new releases where you have to wait for me to get the physical copy of the game and then start recording, and then maybe like in the afternoon episodes start going up. Like it'll be almost 24 hours, roughly 18 hours earlier than they often are for new releases, so I'm psyched about that for sure. I guess I'll just read off some of the, I think I did this last time too, is just read off some of the top fans. I admittedly don't necessarily trust YouTube. I don't know how this works exactly when they try to, but sorting by engagement as just what this site claims are my top fans. We'll see how this goes. So thank you for watching. Serene Eclipse, Aaron Hull, Sosny W, Pete. These names are gonna get hard, aren't they? Piotr Jelma, Enter Folly, The Big Ben 911, Nimday, Dizoni85, Jacob Grimmykins, Eric Lazar, a name that I can't pronounce because it's not in English word letters. It's like Russian symbols. You know who you are, probably. HGWRYCA. There's no vowels in that one. I'm sorry. Florishier, Tislan, Helena Amel, Michael Calistino, Adam Cow, Matt Kramer, Anderson Lewis, Wild Shadow, Dynate Nom Nom, Michael Rowe, Alyssa Christensen, Ikori 50049, Puffin McSkittles, Company of Canadians, Nine Draco, Carl Heinz, Master of Thor, Charlie Cutmore, Zipliner 66, Lootcraft Learn, Torben Abral, The Original Momos, Luke Carroll, What's Up, P.A. Jacobson, Omeg 666, McTavish, RMW 315, Gray the Mad, Fun With It, Sail Rock 182, Alex Doublegood, K Shorty 666, Marshall Klein, Shining Sun Bro, Malace, N7 Legion 101. This, I don't know, that's what is claimed by YouTube to be my top fans. I already don't entirely agree with it though, because I know right off the bat I'm like, well, like Lord Verd is commenting on videos on a daily basis and he's not listed there. So basically what I'm saying is this entire thing was a false premise, but I tried. This is not very reliable. Fuck it, let's read some let's just go through my comments and just read some people I recognize. There's Serene Eclipse again, Wolf Call 1355, Captain Kerbal, Boss Monster, Dante Bond, Fate, Stay at Night Fanatic, Ballad Boxer. It'd be interesting to go back and see how many of these people repeat from the previous video. Guinea Pig Jones. I might have said some of these names twice on accident. Thamurd, Vanillu. I'm gonna stop there. Anyway, there's the credits, the behind the scenes making of. Well, they don't make the show, but they kind of also make the show. Because if you guys weren't watching, I wouldn't be making this stuff because it's simply too much. There's too much time commitment here to do this for nobody. So if I have so many acquaintances in the Let's Play community who have not taken off the way I have, and some that have taken off more, but I cannot imagine doing it if it wasn't progressing in some way, just because at some point, like, you'd be like, well, I've invested hundreds of hours into this over the course of a year, and it's clearly not working. I guess I'll just do something else with my life. But thankfully, you guys are watching, and we're growing, and we're all being a happy little family, and that's not true. I don't know if happy little family is applicable, but I gotta say, I really appreciate you guys' comments. I have it set up with my phone and everything, so like I'm sitting there reading your comments sometimes when I'm on break at work, and it's actually just improves my mood. So I like having the interaction, and I really appreciate that. And I like because one of the big things one of the differences between this show and sad games for the longest time is that the audience on sad games would just be kind of silent, and that was just kind of a bummer, because like numbers were getting bigger, but then they weren't really talking to us. And so it's not only seeing comments, but seeing like repeated comments from the same people and being like, oh yeah, this is a familiar face that you see all the time. Like, that's actually a really cool thing to see, and I appreciate that, because it actually feels like you have fans of some kind, which could be an not to like brag or anything about it. Like, it's just really cool to have like the feeling like, oh yeah, this person likes my stuff and they're sticking around for months on end. This is actually like, you feel appreciated, like your work's actually being put into something. And it's not real work. I'm playing video games and talking over it. The most real work part is that I have to set a schedule, be consistent, and edit, which is time consuming. Could I edit? I showed you guys I've shown you guys images before of my editing before. It's more intensive than a lot of Let's Players do, although less intensive than some, of course. I'm not exactly a professional audio engineer, for example, but yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Sometimes probably one of the hardest things about doing a Let's Play channel is just the idea of, like, you get home from work or something and you feel tired, or you feel out of it, or something's not quite clicking, and just the feeling of, like, you have to record, though, in order to keep things going, and you can't just break the chain. You can't just not feel like it on a regular basis, because if you just don't feel like it, you turn to one of those channels that just dies, or everything slows down and nothing works out, because it's really easy to not feel like it. It's really easy to just want to take breaks and just not do stuff that day, but then you can not do stuff the next day. It's the same way. It's the same thing that where people start exercising, and then they take a day off, then they take 3 days off, and then they stop forever. Basically, it's the unbroken chain concept. So I try to stick to it, and it's only really possible because I'm motivated by the fact that people are giving me feedback, and I know that people are watching, and so I just want to thank you guys for that. And I'll see you guys next time. And hey, Bloodborne. Seriously, I'm really fucking pumped about Bloodborne. By the way, I don't know if I announced this or not, but background videos in this video are all from Xbox Live Indie Games on Sad Games, because I'm continuing the trend of using Sad Games videos as the backgrounds of these videos, just because that's stuff you guys haven't necessarily seen before, and maybe you guys will go check it out. I really enjoy our Xbox Live Indie Games is literally the first thing we ever did for Let's Plays. Like, that's where I started, is doing Xbox Live Indie Games with my friend Andrew, where we do the 8-minute trial, and we just experience the weirdness of an Xbox Live Indie game, which is, I wouldn't even call them so bad they're good, but they're so bad that they make the video good in many cases. And every now and then you find a hidden gem here and there, but it's a really fascinating experience just for sheer variety of weird stuff that people make, and often just the bafflingly bad stuff in many cases. So that's worth checking out, and at the very least, the funny thing is, if you look at the playlist of that series, you can actually you can trace the improvements over time, because you can watch us, like, at the very beginning of the series, we had, the commentary wasn't live, it was out of sync, it sounded terrible, and the video was terrible, and everything was worse. And you can watch us over the course of the last, like, 4 years progress in quality into what you're seeing on the background video now, which is a rip from our current videos that just came out. And that's an experience. I'm really happy that's still an ongoing thing, because it's kind of what ties together my entire background of doing Let's Plays. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, so key points to take from here is Bloodborne will be starting as soon as possible. We hit a milestone of 2,000 subscribers thanks to you guys. I'm trying to develop a new schedule to be really consistent about all of the shows that are going on right now, and hopefully that'll work out, but also might not even be worth memorizing, because I might immediately change it when something changes for me. And I'm living in a new place, which is why things are changing in the first place. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching, like always. Blah, 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 blah. You think that after saying that same outro and like every recording session, I'd stop fucking up at some point, but that has not happened. Thanks for watching, guys, like always, and I'll see you next time. I also already said that earlier. Fuck it.